Hey Frank, just considering all of the lineups and guys out and such, what was your analysis of the defensive intensity and I guess the mix in with the turnovers that could have had to do with that first game?
Yeah, very very proud of the effort and fight and belief that we had in one another, that we could beat this team. A team that was in the finals in their building, and our guys competed their tails off, but didn't play well enough. We fouled too much and we turned the basketball over entirely too much, and those are the two the number one and number two way of beating yourself. And they're controllable, and we just have to be better in those two areas.
You mentioned a couple days ago that you had spoken to KCP. I think it was before the Sacramento game about being aggressive. It seemed like you got that tonight. Frank, is that something that you think LeBron, AD, as they return, that you can get him and try to keep him in that rhythm like that?
For sure, we definitely needed during this stretch, and he's answering the bell. I'm asking him to be super aggressive, looking to score. I actually literally asked him to score 25 tonight, and until that last three, he had exactly 25 points, and ended up with 28. So we want him to be that aggressive, and again, this could be one of those silver lining things where we get more out of him offensively when those guys come back. When he gets this kind of rhythm.
And then your analysis of Drummond's first full action and what you saw on both ends.
Yeah, Drummond was great. He competed. He does what he does. 15 and 12 in 26 minutes, four offensive boards, and a great screener, active hands defensively. Obviously, it's game one. There's a lot to learn still within our system, and on both sides of the ball, learning his teammates. But a good sort of first game. I guess it's technically second game, but first full game.
Kyle.
Hey Frank, is there going to be anything you can do, practice-wise, shoot-around-wise, between now and the Nets game to help those guys, Andre and Ben acclimate, or is it just sort of, hey, here's the film, we'll go over this, we'll go over that, and it's up to you guys?
Yeah, it's mostly going to be on film. It's going to be difficult to get court time between now and really the rest of this trip. But our coaching staff does a great job. Moving the needle, getting guys more comfortable, understanding what we're trying to ask of them with the film sessions, and that'll be the case here.
Dave.
Like, what do you make of Dennis's night tonight? He struggled shooting the ball, distributed a bunch, but also had some turnovers. Like, what did you see out of him tonight?
Yeah, just great effort. He's playing his tail off. Competing at a super high level. And I think he's leading our team with the mindset. I mentioned this about Kuz last week, but the mindset of playing to create for others. And 14 assists. Easily could have had 20 points and 14 assists. He had 10 because he missed a couple of layups. He missed a couple good look threes, shots he normally makes. But he just he competed his tail off, and we had that stretch during in the first half. I don't know if it was reported, but Alex was pulled in the first half for a sore knee that they were evaluating. He's fine, but we had to play Dennis almost the whole first half, and he gave us everything he had.
I'm sorry. Last three questions. Bill.
Frank, KCP was so consistent for you guys in the postseason and such a reliable threat and perimeter. What's been the biggest difference? I guess maybe it's fitting that he had this game against the Heat. But what's been the difference with him this season, if you've seen one, and how much confidence do you have that you can get back to being the night in, night out presence that he was for you guys kind of throughout that bubble run?
Well, the way he's played the last couple of games is a great sign, and when a guy goes through struggles, you're never sure exactly what is the cause of it. Is it the minutes he's getting or the groups that he's out there with. And sometimes guys just get into in mini slumps or whatever. But he came out of the gates with a bang. To start the season for us. Went through a long stretch where we wasn't shooting the ball that well, but still maintained a 40% from three field goal percentage. So he's a guy that I trust there's going to be some ups and downs with him, and the way he's played the last couple games, hopefully, build some momentum going forward.
Dan?
Frank, I'm curious, obviously without LeBron and Anthony, like, the stretch was always going to be really difficult, and you've pointed out silver linings along the way. On a night-to-night basis, how do you kind of balance, like, the in-game result with sort of the big picture? Like, are you able to keep that big picture mindset that I know you preached really since the start of training camp?
Well, you always have that in the back of your mind, but in the front of my mind, I'm only thinking about winning the next game. Whatever that takes, that's what really, like, on a 48-hour reset, every 2 days, like, how do we win the next game? During this stretch, we just got to get as many wins as we can. The big picture stuff comes, as a result of giving maximum effort, game in and game out. And so I really don't spend too much time focused on the big picture. And I just know that there's going to be silver linings, when we get where we want to be.
Last question, Jovan?
Hey Frank, Andre had 3 assists tonight, and a couple of those were kick-out passes out of the post. And I'm curious what kind of element that brings to the offense. Whereas a guy like Mark is more so operating in the elbows or above the arc. What does that low post passing kind of do for the offense?
Yeah, that's one of the when we defined his role when he got here. That's one of the things that we ask of him is to make great decisions in the paint. Because he's going to draw a crowd. And in particular, this morning we talked about with the Miami Heat that they swarm the paint as well as any team in the league. And his touches, he's going to have to go quick, or he's going to have a crowd. And if he has a crowd, to throw it out, and find a teammate, find an open man. And he did a good job with that tonight.